Knowledge is king, so I've been told.
Yep, for sure. All right, I'm not gonna do any more of that on video.
That's what I waited until your spiel was over, and then I hit record.
You mean on recorded video?
Yeah. We're anything you accuse me of is alleged from now on because you have no actual video evidence.
Allegedly.
Your Honor, I plead the fifth.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Of all the numbers in the system, I love number 5 the best because it's the 5th.
Of all the amendments to the Constitution.
Oh, that's what it is. That's right. It's all the amendments.
I like the 5th.
Oh God, good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh man, I haven't watched. Have you watched Dave Chappelle's new?
I did.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should talk about that.
Is it good? I haven't seen it yet.
So it's probably his least funny special, but probably my favorite.
It's
I wouldn't say
poignant.
it's funny at all, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's poignant. It's not funny at all.
I mean, he has some he has a few jokes in there. But
yeah, like the Ja Rule one was pretty funny.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's definitely very him just kind of speaking on the subject. So yeah, it's excellent.
And it was also it was different too in terms of the way it was filmed and the way it looked. At least I thought so. I don't know. Maybe that's just because I'm the nerd, the that likes that type of thing, the cinematography of stuff. But it's clearly was done differently.
Impromptu.
Yeah, I get that feeling. Somebody quickly who's got a Canon, let's get that and some lighting and let's go. You know what I mean? Like it just felt different. It felt very
more like underground or gritty.
Yeah, more. Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to describe it, Max. Yeah, more underground, more indie.
Well, it's like he's doing stand up at like a park, like shelter house or something like that.
Right,
That's what it feels like.
Or
Sorry,
his backyard.
Yeah. Sorry, Dan, what were you gonna say?
Make me think of like Shakespeare in a park, he's got the mini Coliseum going on.
Yeah, it was in Beaver Creek too, which I was like, I don't know. Beaver Creek's close to Yellow Springs, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean Beaver Creek is just west of here a little bit.
Right. It's not From what I understand, if you go to Yellow Springs and you run into Dave, don't make a big deal out of it. I'm serious.
Be cool. Just be cool.
One of the comic book creator from out there in Springfield told me about it, that he went one time and he was in the same coffee shop as Dave, but all the locals will tell you, do not make a big deal out of it. He's just Dave.
Huh.
Yeah, everyone's like so used to him that it's like not uncommon to like just run into him at like the grocery store and stuff. So I've heard the same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Okay. Good. Max, I thought you were going to open the show. That's why I was
okay. Now y'all were with me just before we started recording. Okay. So you all understand what's going on in my mind.
All right.
Hello and welcome to the Three Geeks Podcast. We've got a freaking packed house today. Justin on the podcast again. Welcome back, Justin.
Good to be
here. Did he say something? I think
I said hello.
Max just fell asleep again.
Yeah. All right. Well, he's here. John from the TVD cast. I think, John, you've almost established member status. I don't know if we call you John from the TVD cast too much anymore.
Well, soon it'll also be Matt Talk as well.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I'm going to switch it to. I'm gonna take it that route. I'd rather big ups Matt Talk, because I mean, like, I don't want to call you John from the PVD. You're so much more than that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But then we got to do like a
you
wrestling.
do the PVD cast, and where can they find all your stuff for the PVD cast?
Stuff for the PVD cast can be found at pvdcast.com, the online home of yours truly. And basically throughout most of those major podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, et cetera, and every Monday night at 9:30, you can listen to a live broadcast of the PVD cast through Redline Radio, which is the station out of Cleveland that is syndicating the PVD cast. I usually am there, kind of, in the working the comments, talking to people, interacting with people if you choose to listen. 9:30 every Monday night on Redline Radio. Just go to redlineradiolLC.com.
All right. Awesome. And we've got a few topics today to talk about. Scott and Dan are here also. Let me just not snub them entirely.
Well, we're always here, so.
Are we topics too?
Yes, you are also topics. Dan, you are so many topics.
Hey, let's all enjoy this time together because, as you've probably heard, the Mayan calendar was incorrectly translated.
Again?
And we're all dying this week.
Cool.
So enjoy this time together, guys. Seriously.
I mean, 2020 is definitely more a 2016 than a 2016 one.
Right. What would you do if it is if this is the last week ever? What would you try to do? What would you try to accomplish?
Probably my normal stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would try to travel as much as I could, right? I mean, at least see something before I go.
Right.
Try to finish all the alcohol in my house. Make sure I got my money's worth.
But is that not normal?
I mean, I've got I usually keep a nice bottle of scotch on hand, but usually lasts me a month or two. I just, sip on it every now and then. I'm not just pounding a bottle of scotch every week.
Facts?
There's scotch in that, isn't there?
Now that's an idea. I'll be right back.
Nice.
Max, what would you do?
You'd forget that it was the last week.
Yeah.
Pretty mad you put a new clutch in your car, I bet.
No, it would be the week before the last week, I would forget that the last week was coming up. But in the last week, I would just be an instrument of chaos in that I would just do whatever I wanted to at the time.
Okay.
So if I feel I'm just going to drive 200 miles an hour, I want to see what that's like. There's no one that can stop me.
Okay.
But,
yeah, go ahead.
I thought Scott was saying something.
I didn't say a word.
Oh, okay. Oh no, see, it's tricky because the video pops up sometimes. So I think oh, okay, he's speaking because the video changed. So,
it was sound from his cup hitting the table.
Yeah.
Probably,
Yep. It got me. But I would just do whatever I felt like doing. There would be no one to tell me any different. The world's gonna end in a week. So
I imagine that week would be pretty hedonistic in general.
Stop.
Oh, yeah, Justin, because I'm going to admit, being single, I would try to hook up as much as possible. As much as possible. And I feel if it was the last week, a lot of very beautiful women would go, well, normally I wouldn't, John, but it's the end of the world.
Yeah, right.
So.
Max, you're frozen.
Max is frozen.
Yeah, we lost Max.
Oh, he's really good at staring.
Is he frozen or is he just staring at us?
Oh, yeah.
I think he was just moving.
Oh, yeah, I'm that good. Am I still frozen?
No, you're good.
No, you're good now.
Okay.
You moved locations.
I'm moving. I'm going to switch to different equipment.
Oh. So
because the phone I don't believe is cutting it. So we're going to take a little tour through the house.
Oh boy.
You're not going to show us the house? You're not. This is the bathroom.
This is just Max's chest.
Yeah.
I'm entering the back cave.
He calls
I can't show you. the secret entrance to the Batcave.
Oh, good point. Good point.
It's through the garage, guys.
Yeah. Damn it.
You've already fallen for my trap.
His trap is Windows.
On the old internet.
His trap is the blue screen of death on Windows.
Yeah. He turns it on. It's like Windows needs to update.
Damn it. Oh man! All right, so like I like that we're just like waiting for me to get set up. Here.
Yeah.
Like,
Do it.
like a chickpea is either a
Okay, we can talk about something else.
Do we have topics?
I really enjoy making
We
fun.
do.
We do.
Oh, good.
That's fair. I mean, I understand if that's what we're doing. I was just saying, like, there's other things we could be doing. I'm just saying.
All right. How about this? How about while Max is getting set up? How about this? Let's talk because, this week I saw, and actually Max is the person that posted this on social media, talking about Run the Jewels, the new album that came out. So it made me
my God, it's so good.
Oh, yeah.
It is good. It is very good. But it started me thinking about like favorite concerts or maybe even least favorite concerts. So can we discuss maybe what was your favorite concert you went to or maybe your least favorite? Because I think we've all had one where we go and we're like, yeah. And then you're like, God, this was terrible. Dan?
Sure. Favorite was I saw Motorhead, Dio, and Iron Maiden together.
That's
Back at the old the one up on Polaris.
Polaris Amphitheater. Wasn't
Yeah.
it?
But I had another name when I saw that.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was called.
And worst, it wasn't a show, but when I saw Ozfest, I think in 97, 98, Filter was on the second stage, and I really liked their album back in the day, right? And they sucked. They completely sucked live. Dude had like a megaphone and was yelling into the mic, and it didn't work at all. And yeah, there you go.
Scott?
Ooh, I've been to a lot of concerts, so that's tough.
Yeah, same with me. So
I've seen The Who twice, and both times were really good. Like, it's crazy, like, how old those guys are and how still, like, the same they are in terms of, like, their musical prowess and their performance.
I saw The Who only once. I've seen them. I take that back. I saw them when they did Quadrophenia. They did the tour of Quadrophenia. Which I went to, and it wasn't like I hated it, but I was like, this is not as cool as I thought it would be. So I saw them twice. I think both times they were with, they had Ringo Starr's kid on drums. Zach. I can't remember what his last name
Star.
Would be too easy, Justin. Too easy.
That would make sense, but no.
Max just put on us.
But I also went to see. So this is also kind of like a favorite, least favorite. So I went to Rock on the Range a few years ago when Alice in Chains was playing, and they were incredible. They just played their big hits, had a great stage presence, and everything was fantastic. And later that night, the Smashing Pumpkins were like the headliners, and it was one of the worst sets or concerts I've just ever been to. Like, I don't know if that's how they normally are live or if they're just not good in like a music fest setting, but they were terrible.
Plus, was it the original lineup or was it because I mean they've had so many different people in and out of that band.
I honestly don't know. Besides the main dude,
Billy
Robert or Bobby or whatever the hell his name is.
Billy.
Billy. That's or William. He's always like so specific. It's like, I want you to call me this now. So it's like, I don't know who of the original lineup was there besides him. I know he was there. But yeah, I couldn't tell you, and that was a bad time.
Justin,
we left pretty early.
Yeah, I have a similar story involving Alice in Chains, but in the reverse, where they were the headliner and Shinedown was right before them, and Shinedown blew our faces off so hard in St. Louis that Alice in Chains just couldn't keep up. Right, it was one of those things where it's like all the energy got sucked out of the room when they stopped, and then Alice in Chains joined. And it was like, well, this is sweet, but you're not the same level of energy, right? They didn't produce the same, so we couldn't match it, and it was just almost like people taking naps during Alice in Chains. Like, they got really pissed. They were like on there, just like, hey, why are you guys asleep? But it was interesting.
That's it.
I think, well, for me, it's hard to come up with a favorite. All right, Max. For me, it's hard to pick a favorite because I've seen a lot. I think I'm probably going to go. I'm going to go with one of the earliest concerts I went to. And the reason why, because the opening band just blew me away. I'd never heard of them, and they were so good. I instantly became a fan. I went to go see Better Than Ezra, who I love. I love Better Than Ezra.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Better Than Ezra, Max. Let them love Ezra. It's fine.
The opening band was this band called Eve's Plum, and they were fantastic. Now, Eve's Plum broke up, and you would know actually the lead singer because she went on to become Vitamin C that had that stupid graduation song. Yeah,
I remember them.
Yeah, and it was really weird to see because they were very punk, like Eve's Plum. And so that, I guess I'm going to go with that as my favorite. My least favorite, here's now where y'all can make fun. My buddy had a nephew who was like 10 or 11, and he got tickets to go see Boyz II Men, TLC, and Montel Jordan. And I'm like, I'm going to go. Because in my stupid, idiotic mind, I'm like, hey, there'll be lots of hot single girls there. And we got the kid. The kid's adorable. Yeah, then when you get there and you're like, wait a minute. We look like, like a gay couple with our kid there. And I'm like, this didn't work out at all. But side note, Boyz II Men was okay. TLC was terrible. They were awful live. And Montel Jordan was
You weren't chasing waterfalls when you were done with this?
No, I was not chasing. I wanted to leave.
No, he was chasing the waterfall for sure. He's like, I'm going to jump off the nearest waterfall and
end
it right now.
Just end it.
Yeah.
So, Max, how about you?
So the best concert I've ever been to was a Tool concert. It was actually the second time I had seen them that year. So it was really weird but like the thing that made it better than the first time I saw them and the best concert I've ever been to, because I've been to 3 Tool concerts and they're numbers 1, 2, and 3 as far as best concerts I've ever been to. Yeah, this one was the best because the opening band, and I can't remember their freaking name. Internet, I'll get back to you on that. I have a friend I can ask because he was there. He'll know the name of the opening band. But their drummer was so good, and the band was really good too. So they got us going. And then Tool comes out. They start playing, and then it's the end of the concert. They're playing Lateralis, and they have an extended drum solo in the middle of Lateralis. And then they bring out the drummer from that opening band, and he has a freaking drum battle with Danny Carey. And it was just the craziest drumming you've ever seen in your entire life. It was like Neil Peart level craziness. And it was really freaking awesome. And like Lateralis is my favorite Tool song, so it's like, yeah, it was just really freaking awesome.
The stars all aligned.
Yeah, it was great. It was really, really good. So like I really dig it. That was my favorite concert. The worst concert I've ever been to, it's sort of like your story, John. It's it was my 16th birthday, and my sister, quote unquote, bought me a ticket or a couple tickets, 2 tickets, so I could take me and a friend to the NSYNC concert. And she was like, but if you don't want to go, I'll take the tickets and get you something else. Because she thought that she was going to go with her 2 friends, but she didn't have enough money to get me a ticket or give me a present. And it wouldn't have mattered if she didn't get me a present. That's what got, like, you could have just not got me anything, and that would have been fine. Yeah. Since you said that these are my birthday presents, I'm taking the fucking tickets, and we're going to the NSYNC concert, right? So I asked this girl that I'm into, I'm like, you want to go to the NSYNC concert with me? Like, I'm thinking, bam, right? Like, this is the end. It's over. It's a wrap, right? We're going to have a great time at the concert. I'm going to ask her out at the end of it. Fucking, it's like, we're going to be making out on the way home. Everything's going to be great, right? Freaking
But she also thought you were a gay couple with your friend.
Like it's similar in that like we were going to the concert thinking that we're like this is the end, right? Like you had it down. So I got ignored the whole time. I was ignored the whole time. I had to sit through a freaking NSYNC concert. I'm not an NSYNC fan.
Bye, Max.
Huh?
Nothing. Sorry.
No. What did you say?
I said bye.
Yep. Exactly.
See, isn't it? It's just a miracle how stupid you are, especially when you're young and trying to get girls and impress girls. Like I said, we'll go. You know, Jake is a cute little kid. We'll go, hey, I'm here with my buddy and his friend, and I'll look all sensitive and nice. And yeah, that didn't happen.
No. I
remember like trying like other scams of like having, you know, my buddy was like, hey, dude, because there was a girl down the street that I liked. He goes, here's what you could do. You could just drive into the neighborhood. You can break down in front of her house. You have to knock on the door and call me. I'm like, yeah, no. Why would I just walk down to your house? Why would I knock on the door and call? That doesn't make sense.
Oh, man. No, that's so far, though. It's so far to walk, and I have
Not to mention that I'm like, we don't have the same car, so I don't know how you're going to fix my car. Yeah. I mean, all these harebrained ideas, you know, stupidity that you think are going to work.
Tell me you actually did that. Like,
yeah. No, I nixed that idea.
Oh, man.
No, I'm not doing that.
I really wanted to know how that turned out.
Yeah. No, it did not. It turned out because I was like, no, I'm not doing that. That doesn't make any logical sense. Like, I can literally walk 8 houses down, knock on your door. I don't have to call you, you know.
No, I mean, like, you could be calling a tow truck.
Maybe.
Not your friend.
Yeah, exactly.
You could go up and knock and say, hey, can I use your phone? Because I don't want to walk in this neighborhood. I don't know who was this.
Yeah, I don't want to walk in this very white middle-class neighborhood. I'm scared. Can I?
Like, I would just, just roll with the troops like, hey, my car broke down, and I saw that you live here.
I got some free time.
I thought that this was a good opportunity for me to hit on you.
Well, actually, it ended up, I actually did see that girl like several months later. She apparently got a job at the local mall, and I went ahead and walked in and did my whole spiel. And we actually did go out once, and then that was it, because, you know.
Hey, all right. Well, you know, good on you. Good on you for stepping up. Like, that's it's more than I ever did in fucking high school.
So, all right, can we, since we're on this track of talking about music, RTJ4, listened to it just the other day. I don't know why it slipped through my mind. I don't know what Dan or Scott or Justin, if you're a fan, but I'm a huge fan of Run the Jewels. I have the first 3 albums. To me, they're a throwback to the hip hop that I grew up on, you know, which is something that I don't think that I can say in the last 20 years. I just really haven't been a fan of hip hop in the last 20 years.
There's some good, like, I feel like it's just like anything else. We're just like oversaturated with the bad stuff. There is like Kendrick Lamar, there's some, like, a couple.
J. Cole's pretty good. Yeah,
like there's some good rap out there. It's just like buried underneath all this like crap and mumble freaking. I don't understand. I would dig mumble rap better if like the beats were better. You know, I'm like,
yeah,
I can't get down with any of this.
I agree.
But because I mean, like, I like Pearl Jam. You know, like, words aren't really important.
Yeah, I mean, like, I grew up loving Public Enemy, Boogie Down Productions, Eric B. and Rakim, you know, the old school stuff. And, you know,
I want Mos Def to put out another album.
Who? Mos Def?
Mos Def.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with that stuff.
It's
and
like
I feel
name Slickback. You got to say the whole thing.
I think RTJ reminds me a lot of Public Enemy just because of the way that they're layered and everything. And actually, that actually could go into our first segment because I saw them in concert in what was the weirdest concert lineup ever. a couple of years. I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago. It was Run the Jewels and Lorde on a tour.
That's interesting.
That is very interesting.
It is. So I got tickets because I wanted to go, and so my buddy was like, "Look, I'm interested in seeing Lorde, not so much Run the Jewels." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Well, we'll go." But look, man, we're just gonna go like 8:30 because I don't care about the opening band. You know,
Right.
Forget the opening band. So we get there right as the opening band ends, and I'm not making this up. In the Shot and Scene Center, we're in the like cheap seats, like up in the 300 levels. Yeah. There is maybe 10 people in that section. Run the Jewels comes on. They do their set. They joke around about the fact that this is the most oddball tour ever. They leave. Within literally like 3 or 4 minutes, our section is packed with every soccer mom and high school girl and like early 20s misunderstood, college girl. I don't know where they came from. Like literally, like it was like a swarm. Boom! And I'm like,
I was unaware that all of these women existed in Columbus.
But no, Randy Marsh was that popular.
My part was like I didn't even see because we left after Run the Jewels to go out and like get a soda and that, and there was nobody in the hallway. So I don't know where these soccer moms showed up with their kids. I'm like.
It's teleportation technology. They invented it for the soccer moms so that you could eliminate minivan rides.
Oh, what happens when the teleporting doesn't work? Do they have to be like a Karen and complain to the manager?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're
gonna get
a whole hotline for it.
That vicious, like there's hyper aggressive layering or whatever that they do, and go right up to the manager.
Aggressive highlights.
Yes,
aggressive highlights.
I might have a worst concert story that might beat whatchamacallit. What's that band? Smashing Pumpkins. So for my fiance's birthday one year, she really, really wanted to go see the Dixie Chicks. And I was like, yeah, all right, whatever, So the kicker was like another band that I really, really liked was playing that same night. And my sister went to that concert, and I went to see one of the openers was Saint Motel, which I actually really liked, but it was like Saint Motel, Elle King, and then the Dixie Chicks. And it was the same thing where like Saint Motel played and like I'm up in like the kind of nosebleeds and there's like nobody there. And I'm like having a good time and like, yeah, I like you guys. And then they end and then like all these like, grade school girls and their like soccer moms like show up and they're all like, oh, Elle King and Dixie Chicks. And I'm just there like, fuck. And then
which one of Elle King's hits is not an appropriate song for your daughter to like?
Oh wait,
how she's banging all these dudes all around the world.
I might actually be merging 2 concerts because I also went and saw Panic.
It's okay. I appreciate your story. This is good.
Either way, it was either Elle King and the Dixie Chicks or Panic at the Disco. Either way, the crowd was the same.
That's
and it was still a horrible time for me. And one of my favorite bands was still playing. And I remember my sister was talking about how great a time it was, and I was just there like.
Hey, I will give credit to Lorde though. She does do a great stage show. Like there's a whole lights and multiple outfits and like I mean, and I don't hate her music. I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I give her credit that she did put on a hell of a show. I will say that.
Yeah. I think, your story mainly just shows how different the crowds are, right? It's the audience preferences. That had nothing to do with Lorde being good or bad. It just, it's crazy how different they are.
Do you guys remember that con that we were at when there was like a gymnastics thing going on next door?
Taylor
and it
Swift?
Was like, you'd see like the Predator and then like some little gymnastics girl.
That's a perfect.
I was like, I don't know what's going on here. Like,
I have one that beats that, Max. 2004, I went to go see my very first time Ring of Honor wrestling at the Roberts Center in Wilmington. We got there. On the other half of the Roberts Center, gun show.
But that fits. I mean,
like those things are symbiotic.
Taking the Undertaker theme too seriously.
Oh man, dead man walking.
You know who puts on a hell of a show though? I saw Weird Al Yankovic.
I would
heard
love
nothing
back
but
in
good
the
things.
late 90s, and he played for like 3 hours, like
I've
costume
heard
changes
that.
and all.
I've
Yeah.
heard that. I've heard that's a great show.
It was
Yeah,
very impressive.
I would love to see Weird Al, like, after, if the world gets back to somewhat normal. Yeah, that's definitely, if he's touring, I gotta go, because like I don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
I definitely got to see Weird Al. He's one of my favorite artists, like, of all time.
Yeah, and like every artist he does respects him for doing their pivot of their song, right? For the most part. I mean, I think
Except for Coolio.
Gangsta's Paradise had
Except for
some
Coolio.
stuff with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that he's like a good musician, like even when he's not being funny. Like I've heard that he can like cover like serious songs and do like a really good job.
Yeah,
Same-
he
same
does
thing
all
with-
that. Like it's him, like that's why I like Weird Al, because I'm just so impressed with this dude. Like he can make a polka out of anything, and and he's also just like a really good musician. He's really smart. Obviously, his songs are funny. Like
I think that's the accordion, Max. I don't think that's necessarily. I think it's just like if you're just over here, like,
no, but I mean, like
pretty polka.
he's covering like Disturbed with an accordion. Like.
Scott, one thing that you mentioned that about Weird Al's a great musician. I remember several years ago I listened to Mark Maron's podcast. He had Tenacious D on. They literally have an entire like 4 or 5 volumes of songs that are really awesome. They're like, we can't release these because our shtick is we write these hokey, terrible metal songs, but we have like ones that we've cut in the studio. And we're like, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We can't release it.
Man, can you imagine being pigeonholed into being worse artists? Like you bad.
Why, like, release it? Like
Release it under like a pseudonym.
Yeah, Garth
Right.
Brooks the shit out of it. Yeah, Garth Brooks the hell crap out of it, right?
yeah.
Mark Brooks.
Artist formerly known as Prince.
Yeah. Not Tenacious D.
Not
Right.
There you go.
or D Tenacious.
Yeah.
There you go. Just switching around.
Tenacious T.
Tenacious T.
There you go. I remember probably the craziest concert I went to was the first time I went and saw Lords of Acid, because it was at the
That's a great
Newport.
band name.
What did you expect?
Were you on acid?
No, I wasn't. That was maybe the problem. It was just
What were you thinking?
it was packed to the gills with people. There were just weird inflatable sex dolls being thrown about the crowd, naked dancing girls on the stage. Everybody in the balcony was moshing, where I felt a little uncomfortable because that balcony gives up there in Newport. I'm like, am I going to collapse and die tonight?
That would be
Is this how I'm-
terrifying.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it's
was.
Really should have done the acid. I feel like they should have handed that to you with your ticket.
And Justin, the part was like you couldn't move because it was literally like elbow to elbow to people.
I'd have to leave. Even if I enjoyed the music, I'd have to leave. That'd make me real uncomfortable.
I mean, it was wild because I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I might die tonight. I don't know.
I went to
Maybe you're right.
a Matt and Kim show that was like, I like Matt and Kim a lot, but like if you're anywhere like in kind of like the main area, like get prepared to be active and be up against people.
You are
know,
participating. whether
And
you
they're
want to or not.
usually blow up sex dolls at Matt and Kim shows. It's a good
I
time.
always wanted to see Matt and Kim, and in fact, I got tickets to their last show here in Columbus, but it was the weekend of Wizard World. Like an idiot, I didn't pay attention, and I bought one ticket for me because nobody could go, and I'm like, I'll just buy one ticket for myself. And then I'm like, gosh, shit, it's Wizard World.
I'll go.
I
with
couldn't-
you, John.
I ate the money because I couldn't find anybody to buy it. I tried to sell them on StubHub because I think it was one ticket. Like nobody's like, if it was
Right,
a pair, I would
right.
buy them. But
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna eat the $40 because I can't. And I was bummed too because I really wanted to
Yeah, you
see
should have drove it out, dude.
them. Should have.
I bought
But
a
Brian.
ticket.
Well, but the problem was Brian was staying with me, and I felt, like, I don't,
Obligation. Yeah.
yeah, obligate. Not really an obligation, but
You're
yeah, I
coming back.
promised him.
Yeah.
Coming back, you just go to the concert real quick for like the next 8 hours.
Real quick concert. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good sentence.
It's like going to the corner store. It's fine.
How'd you know my dad, Dan?
Oh.
Oh, hey now.
I didn't say it would be 20 years. I just said it's going to be a couple hours. Sorry, man. I had to.
Oh man.
So, shall we talk about other comic book news, so to speak.
Let's talk about this dude getting fired off the Flash. He was playing Elongated Man.
Yes.
They had Elongated Man on the Flash.
Yeah, for the last couple seasons, man.
Flash is still going.
Yes, I'm impressed. That's impressive.
Hartley Sawyer got fired for some tweets that he made about 7, 8 years ago that resurfaced, and unfortunately, some of them were a little dark. I gotta be honest with you. They were not. I'm like, that's probably, huh?
What did he say?
There was jokes about rape and one that was a little bit racist. Well, I say that because I think
it's either racist or it's not. Like,
it's pretty true or false, right?
Hold on. It was.
Sorry.
He tweeted out, Max. He tweeted out, I would make more racist tweets, but I'm afraid that Al Sharpton wouldn't stop talking about me.
It's just a stupid tweet to make. That's just
It's
a dumb thing to say.
Okay, no, I understand why he got fired for that. Like, not because of the casual racism, but because of just like really idiot.
Yeah. Why even make that point?
He also made comments about that he saw some girl's boobs in an audition, and the funny thing is that while just taking a look at this, there was an article about why this is different than James Gunn, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. What did they say?
Number one, James Gunn openly apologized as soon as it came out. Hartley, as of now, has yet to apologize for the tweets. Secondly, after doing research with the James Gunn situation, it was discovered that it was possibly somewhat politically motivated because the few weeks prior to, he was very much anti-Trump, and that led somebody to try to dig these up. So that's why he kind of got, I don't want to say a pass, but that's why it was looked at differently. Sawyer has yet to apologize, and it took forever for the CW. Apparently this was discovered months ago, and they had been mulling it over. And according to the article, that kind of says, if you're mulling it over, it's not good if they're going, well, we need to take a look at this. So that was and which is, I think, is valid points that, if you come out and apologize for it, that maybe helps to smooth it over a little bit.
Well, look, like,
are you looking them up, Max?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to see what he said.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's dumb shit. It's not worth repeating. You can all look it up yourselves if you want to. I'm not gonna give him any of my floor, but yeah, it's dumb shit. I don't know why you tweet these things, but that's the problem. Again, this is the problem, or the beauty of Twitter. Like, never before have we been exposed to someone's unfiltered thoughts.
Yeah. And to that point, I mean, this was 8 years ago, right? I just looked up his age just because I was curious. That puts him around 28, 27, 28. I mean, 27, 28, you should know better than to throw social media, especially you're going to be an actor. Like, you're someone like us, we could put some stupid tweet out and get in trouble for our job, but you're an actor. People are going to dig through your stuff infinitely more than just a common Joe.
But it's like, no, because you didn't understand that these records are there forever.
He was 27 or 28.
Yeah, you do.
No. But like, they don't think about it. Like, no, because when they were first, 7, 8 years ago is when Twitter was first getting started. You're not thinking about it being there forever.
But MySpace, your MySpace page is still around thanks to Justin Timberlake.
I get it, but I'm saying, like, when these people were doing these things, is this, like, the concept of it hadn't been fully realized yet. Like, they didn't understand what game they were playing just yet. And now,
8 years ago, he's like, man, I got to get this Twitter following up, and then he puts out a bunch of stupid shit. He's like, well, at least they'll click on me and they might follow me because I'll say more stupid shit.
Right.
So like 8 years later, he's like, damn, I said stupid shit.
Then to that point, then, if you're a celebrity, would you not do a yearly cleanup of your Twitter? Like, go through and just be like, hey, this could get me in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, the culture, the climate has changed.
But no, once you've tweeted something, all the people who follow you see the tweet, and they can take their own picture of it. So
you can't hide it, but the fact that you can just say, "Hey, my opinion changed, my something changed." Get in front of it. Don't just be like, "Okay, let's
absolutely."
do something different."
If he's not, this is the sort of thing. Like, if you're not denying it, like, or can whatever, fucking saying like, "Hey, that's not cool," like right away. It just looks worse and worse the longer you take to say that.
Right. Like for example, I mean, Kevin Hart had this issue a few years ago. Kevin Hart did, right? With the somewhat very insensitive gay jokes that he was making.
What gets me is they got offended over the joke, and the joke was about how he was a terrible person.
True. True.
He had to, he said some inflammatory things in his example of how he's a terrible person, but the whole point of the joke is that he's not a whole person. He's not grown to the level that a person his age should be. Like, that's what he was saying. And they're like, "You are not a good person. You haven't grown to the level of person you're supposed to be." He's like, "Yeah, that's what I said."
Yeah.
There's a problem with comedy now, though, is that you can take snippets of stuff and show it to your favorite, focus group. And, it's totally out of context, and yet they still judge it as if you were saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying to give everybody a get out of jail free card, but it is comedy for a reason. Like, you get stuff out and you laugh about it and you talk about it.
But the irony is, like, he agrees with you,
Yeah.
The irony of it is, like, yes, that's what I said. These ideas are not valid anymore. I'm archaic, and and they're like, you're a fucking dinosaur. He's like, yes, that's what I said.
And
but
we all
now
change.
the Oscars. I'm sorry, like.
Yeah, and we all change. I mean, 8 years ago, we weren't the same people we are today, and we learn and we evolve. What'd you say?
And that's more of the James Gunn example, where he said some things and he might have meant it back then. But he's like, "Well, hey man, I'm sorry I said those things now." Like, and then that's totally fine too. But it's just like, like people, you don't have to be enraged. You don't have to get this like moral freaking feel like you've been attacked. Like, down to your deepest core. People do dumb and say dumb things all the time. It's about like moving on from there. If you're looking years back, you had to look years back to find some stuff. It's like, give a person the opportunity to grow as a person in that time.
Mm-hmm.
If you said something then, that's not you're not even like on the cellular level. Like, in 10 years, you're a whole different person. Like,
I think, I'm sorry. And to John's point, I mean, I think that's probably what Hartley's problem is he's not contrite. He's not coming out and saying, "Hey, I've changed. I've grown from where I was standing 7-8 years ago," and rightfully so. He should get blasted for it. Like, you should grow or be okay with the consequences of your lack of growth. Right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's like, it's like when you're watching frickin' any of these daytime paternity court shows, and it's like the girl sleeps with 7 people. Now you're a hoe, okay? Like, you're a hoe, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You just have to understand that hoe things happen to hoes. Now, one of these dudes got you pregnant. You're not allowed to be mad at a dude because he doesn't think it's him. That's not a hoe mentality. Now, if you're a dude who slept with a hoe and she got pregnant, don't be like, "That ain't my baby." Because that could be your baby. You slept with that hoe. Like that you need to understand.
Go to church. Good Lord.
Understand where you're at. It's just like, hey man, like, if that's how you feel, if that's how you think, then yeah, you deserve, like, and they want to distance themselves from you, like, that's fine, because like if that's how you feel and that's what you think, that's what happens to people who think like that. Yeah. Motherfuckers don't want to be around them. And then, if he's
they lose a job.
If you're not that way, you're not doing any of the things to prove that you're not that way. Yeah. And so that much, like, your silence equals, like, complicity or whatever. Like, what?
Yeah, complicity.
Yeah.
But is that why people get outraged at everything? Because they feel like if they stay silent, they're part of the problem. So they have to,
I think in certain instances, yes, but I also think in other instances, no. And I'll explain why, because yesterday I watched a small snippet of Joe Rogan's podcast, which I don't usually do. But the title, I was like, I want to hear what this was about. And by the way, if you want to check it out, I think it's called, it's either Everyone is Racist or Everything is Racist. And it's from a couple of years ago. One of the points that he brings up is in regards to people being easily offended, is that we don't struggle anymore for anything. I mean, our lives, to be honest, is fairly easy as compared to a few years ago. You know, like for an example, a few years ago, we could never do this, right? Like we would all five of us have to be in a room. The struggle would be, we would have to get our gear, pack it up, drive to someone's house, unpack it, set it up, talk, record. But life has become easy. And the guest on this snippet was talking about, he goes, I think that's why people are very easily offended by stuff, because we don't understand perseverance. We don't understand what it's like to have struggles. And again, these are all minor struggles, but there's still things that build character to an extent.
Or is it because we have too much spare time because life is easy now?
True. I think it's all those things. Again, it's the same thing as like nobody knew when they were making social media what they were making.
Yeah,
true.
And you know, it's like when you have these things, you know, or you know, it's like it's easier to do stuff. And John, I'd actually kind of counter argument. Anecdotally, I was on a podcast with Justin, and we recorded that from separate spaces, but I lost that already. So it's not exactly easy. But no, it's just like,
you know what? Losing that episode will build character with you, Max.
Yeah, it will. The pain of it has built already character. And,
wait a minute. Was there a second episode?
There's been multiple lost episodes of the month.
There's plenty of in the vaults for.
Oh, geez, guys. Okay. I thought you meant the podcast list.
No.
I was like, I got the wrong thing 4 times, but I did get the right thing.
Yes. Yeah, we got there eventually. It's, you know, it's supposed to be easier, but for some of us, it's not.
There's always gonna be user error, right? It doesn't.
But no, it's just, yeah. Again, I got no problem with the show distancing themselves with him.
Yeah.
Again, because he's not tried any of the things to keep his job, which means he doesn't want to. Yeah, and that's the only thing we can assume because he's not saying anything.
Right.
So, you know, that's totally cool. And yeah, it's okay, you know, again, to be watchful of these things. You know, it's like if you're like, hey man, like you said these things 8 years ago, do you still feel like that? And you know, he's like, you're like, aha, like you're fucked up. Like I hate you. You know, like, you know, but if you're James Gunn, you know, he's like, you said these things fucking 8 years ago. Do you still feel like that? He's like, no, I was stupid. I deleted those things. Yeah. All that mindset is dumb. Why would anyone think like that? Like I don't even know what I was doing. And you're like, okay, well, obviously you've at least grown enough as a person to understand that you like said some fucked up shit. Like
not supposed to say fucked up shit.
Right. And that's that. So you know, you can't judge them the same because, you know, like one of them has grown as a person and the other one has not. Like it's like, you know, if 2 people commit a crime and like they're both in jail and one person keeps on murdering people and the other one stops, like you can't judge them the same.
Justin, what were you gonna say?
So I was just thinking, I mean, like, so if he apologizes tomorrow, how long does that castigation? How long does that roll for? Like, how long before the populace kind of either approves of him being okay and being able to come back to a TV show or whatever?
The longer he waits, the more he needs to make it okay. Like now, you gotta make your apology and give to a charity and do a thing. Now you know if you want to get back into the fucking good grades or whatever. You know, it's like. Your apology went from, you know, a paragraph to a page. You know, now like you're like it's got a.
Now you've got a thesis.
Yes, yeah. Now you're writing your doctorate on that shit.
Yeah, the same as with like. Oh, sorry, Dan.
Oh,
no, go ahead.
it's gonna say like damage control needs to start like as soon as that shit comes out. Like even if you still feel that way, you have to act like you don't.
And if you feel that way, and you're like, I'm totally cool with people knowing, and I don't give a fuck what happens. Like that's your prerogative. Like no harm, no like that's how you feel. Like I can't change that. But if you want to work, you maybe want to do something. Take a fucking anger management class or something. I don't know.
I'm thinking like remember last month when they were thinking about opening the economy back up, and the guys would show up on the news saying, yeah, we should sacrifice the old people to open the economy. Like the same kind of thing there. Like is anybody gonna trust these guys anymore?
Could you imagine being one of those voters and 60 years old being like, okay, I guess my life's forfeit to go outside, right?
Great. Anyway, just random thoughts.
Bottom line is watch what you say, but if you do say some fucked up shit, own it.
Yeah.
And grow from it. Bottom line.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
or
whatever.
wrong, right? Yeah.
There's consequences for both, right? There's consequences.
Right. Yeah, and that's just it. Just understand, like A or B is going to happen when you do these things, and that's all I care about. Like again, like if you a hoe, you a hoe. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But you got to understand that you a hoe. Like,
how did we get here, Max? How did we?
Social media.
I'm a hoe. I'm an advocate for hoes. Okay, I want more hoes out there. But
Max is pro hoe.
Huh?
Max is pro hoe.
I'm pro hoe. I'm down. pro ho, a pirate's life for me.
Watch what you say, man.
Lose this one. We might have to lose this one.
We're not losing.
Mark your calendars. Mark your calendars. 5 years from now, we're going to see. Internet sensation Max Andrews has been saying that hoeing is fine and refer to women as hoes.
Look, wear protection. Obviously wear protection. But
after news of his interesting rash has surfaced.
You know what I'm saying? Like, be safe. But if you want to sleep with 7 dudes or 7 chicks and everyone's consenting, again, this is all consensual. That's whatever. That's fine. Be a hoe.
Okay,
no comment from Max Andrews or his officials.
Then it cuts to
the
people,
allegations.
I'll stand by because this is how I feel.
Then it cuts to women outside going, yo ho, what the hell?
I'm pro ho.
Yo ho, or like yo no.
Go
yo ho. Isn't that drink you would drink as a? Oh no, that's Yoo-hoo. My bad.
Which is awesome. I'm a big fan of Yoo-hoo.
Oh yeah,
Yoo-hoo is so gross.
Yoo-hoo and Sunny D.
Damn, Max is saying a lot of wrong things today.
Yoo-hoo is just worse chocolate milk. The same way like Sunny D is just worse orange juice.
I thought we were cool.
No.
How about Tang?
I like chocolate.
Oh,
I'm not a fan of Tang. I'm not a fan of Tang.
I like Tang.
Astronauts drink Tang, so of course I'm
yeah.
I only drink Tang.
It's just a difference of taste buds at this point. If I like Yoo-hoo and you guys are Tang, and the other way around, we're just different.
You got to make your own podcast now. Sorry.
Oh no.
Yoo-hoo and Tang, the podcast.
You gotta shake it.
Justin, when we do our Magic podcast, we're calling it Yoo-hoo and Tang.
Who's Yoo-hoo and who's Tang?
I want to be Tang.
Okay.
I want to write a buddy cop movie with that title. Meet Jason Yoo-hoo. He's the toughest cop from the streets.
Yoo-hoo and Tang, copyright 3 Geeks.
Shaken, not stirred is the tagline.
And his sidekick Ernie Tang. They take no prisoners on the streets of Des Moines, Iowa.
Iowa. Oh, I'm about to add the sugar to this motherfucker.
Nice.
Don't do it. You're adding too much sugar.
Oh, that's too sweet.
Man, oh man, Jason, you are smooth and chocolatey. Yes, I am.
You and Tang.
Someone said I was
What
worse
kind
than
of
chocolate
car-
milk, but I
What kind of
disagree.
car do you and Tang roll around in?
Ooh.
Definitely the Oscar Mayer Weenie Mobile.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
Painted orange?
That is reserved to Dumb and Dumber. Thank you.
I'm saying they gotta roll in like something ridiculous, like a Toyota Prius.
I was like a Fiat.
Pacer.
Fiat.
Yes. All right. No, I'm down for that.
Fiat. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, man. I just want to go to a Fiat dealership and see if me and Justin can fit into a Fiat together.
It wouldn't be well, but we'd be closer. We'd be very closer friends.
But I know I don't
Like
think that would be reaching that level of uncomfortable that you are. It's like, no, people are too close to me. I
Only
can't.
if the Fiat is a stick, too, so you're really like just reaching over.
Whoa, wrong stick.
Put on some cloud makeup before, you'll fit right in.
So many Judas Priest songs about that.
2 fat men in a Fiat.
That's the
That sounds
sequel,
like
Max.
a
Don't give out the
sitcom.
names yet. Good Lord.
It's got to be orange and brown, too.
That's what I was thinking, too. Like the hood be orange and the back be
Yeah.
brown or something like that.
Yep, no, I'm down. I'm down.
Orange with, like, brown, like, covering the hood,
Tiger stripes.
and then flames going across it.
Tiger stripes. That's it. Like a pair,
All right,
like a
all right.
pair of Cleveland Brown Zumbas.
Oh,
That's
God.
what you want.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man.
Is that you and Tang? Oh, Lord, better run.
Can't stop the sweetness.
Would they
Makes me
have
hot.
would they have a female fellow police officer named Quick?
Oh, please. Yeah.
No.
Strawberry Quick. That would be her name.
Oh,
Sounds
God.
like a bad, like she'd be like a kind of a bad blonde.
She could be like a stripper informant. Strawberry Quick
Yeah,
could be like,
yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. There you have it.
secret freaking podcast. Like Yuhu and Tang podcast. Like we get the underground. We got to go talk to Strawberry Quick.
It's just us reviewing random drinks. Just the
Yeah.
drinks. He's like, let me tell you about this sweet Tang.
Us reviewing random drinks in random strip clubs.
The drink aisle will never look the same to me again.
You try this sweet tea? Tang likes some sweet tea.
You should. Do Juggalos do like taste tests of Faygo?
Oh,
Like, do
that
they
would
have-
be a glorious YouTube channel. I would at least watch it once if it was just like a pair of Juggalos and they're sitting there like every except for them being Juggalos, everything else is like your run of the mill tasting or whatever.
It's
like
not sustainable.
you don't know how many Juggalos there are, but
You just said you'd watch it one time.
There's only so
Our
many
10
things.
views.
dude, if
Go
everyone in
flavors.
the world watches your video one time, that's 7 billion views.
Whoop,
That's
whoop.
every YouTube video ever. Who's gonna be like, oh, let me go watch those Juggalos drink some Faygo?
You're telling
Dude,
me
you'd be surprised.
go taste testing one time. You're gonna sit here and tell me that one time.
They have one video on their channel and that's it. Just
Oh, it's like 2 hours
7
long.
billion
Instead of
views.
just tasting every flavor of Faygo and comparing them.
Hey, I tell you right now. I mean, look. As much as I love to make fun of the Juggalos, you got to give credit to the Insane Clown Posse because that is a 15-minute gimmick that has lasted almost 25 years.
super
I
little,
mean,
right? It's amazing.
I mean,
it is.
It's grown again. It's like they didn't know what they were doing when they started doing it.
I mean, and they've had no major press, nothing. It's all underground. You got to tip your hat to them. That should have been over and done like in 5 months, and here it is, 25 years later. We're still talking about the ICP.
You guys ever watch the Workaholics video with them? Like, it's a whole episode of them going to a Juggalo concert and then just hanging out. It's so good.
Yes, I have seen that. Oh man,
Workaholics. I like that show too.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be fresh.
So we've hit the pause. Is this where we
Yeah,
wrap things
yeah.
up? Like
Yeah,
we
More topic?
I think
do
that's
we
all
have
the
more
topics I
topic?
had.
I thought there was one more. I'm looking. Hold on.
No, we covered the 3.
Stand by.
Uh-oh.
Stand by. Concerts, Hartley
Oh yeah, no,
Sawyer.
that's all the topics. I always think there's another topic. I mean, we get rolling, and I'm just like, man, what's the next topic?
Well, the other topic is just us randomly talking about shit. So.
Creating great ideas. That's what the fourth topic is.
There you go.
Juggalo YouTube channels and Fago and Tang.
No, but
it's just a leftover.
Oh,
yeah.
And a Fiat near you.
Well, we are going to do a whole podcast on it, so we're not going to get too in deep. But Justin, the new there's all kinds of new stuff dropping. Because Double Masters is dropping and Magic 21, right, is dropping.
There's a whole bunch of Magic stuff. Yeah, and the fact that they're turning into Godzilla stuff makes me so happy. That's really bad for my wallet, but it's really good for my soul.
Yeah, I got out of paper and I could put together a Mothra deck. That's just fun, Why wouldn't you do that? And that's what I wanted them to do. Because some fan had made a Star Wars deck of Magic. A set of with all Star Wars themes. I'm like, why don't they do that?
Well, I figured as soon as Hasbro bought them, I knew that something was going to come down the pipe, right? I mean, we're going to start seeing probably more D&D characters. I would imagine, if I'm thinking like this, if this really hits off, you're going to see it spiral into Power Rangers and things like that. I have to imagine.
I hope. It's going to be great. Because Magic has the best mechanics to me. I really don't care what's on the pictures as far as playing the game is concerned. But if I can get Star Wars on the pictures with Magic mechanics, that is best case scenario.
I mean, I bought the Godzilla thing. I'm not going to build a deck with Godzilla, but I have the card because it's Godzilla. That's it.
Enough said. All right, so yeah, check out freaking Yoo-Hoo and Tang coming out soon. We're going to talk about
Fiat near you.
John, thanks for joining us again. Actually, we're gonna have to stop giving you the shout outs like this because you're here all the time. So
you're here all the time.
I'm here all the time.
We love you, but it's
you're really selling this, Max.
That and start our own solo projects so we can all shout out ourselves when we start this thing, because it's okay, yeah, we know who you are, we know who you've been. You've been here forever, John. You're one of the guys. But thank you for being one of them.
Yeah, I can't use the bumper at the beginning because you're on the show.
Sorry, my bad.
No, it's okay. It's fine. I was like, oh yeah, I got all these bumpers and I can't use it.
Yeah, no, you should definitely use them. Especially definitely put one on this episode.
All right.
Don't listen to Max. He has terrible ideas. Just remove the bumpers.
I have all bumpers ideas. But one out of every 10 or 8 billion of my ideas are really good. Just one.
Oh, dang.
But all right, so this has been the Three Geeks Podcast. John, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me online a couple different places. I'm on Twitter under my personal handle of @PVDMVP. But you can also find PVDcast on Facebook. Just look for PVDcast, Instagram as well. Don't forget. I don't think we even talked about it, so never mind. But tomorrow on the 15th, Matt Talk, the podcast. That's right. Jason Taylor and myself.
Finally.
That's right. Just finished up the episode yesterday, so that's going to be posting tomorrow. And in all seriousness, I'm really surprised at how many people are looking forward to this podcast. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, I'm going to give you guys an ICP's shot in hell. You're going to get one episode, at least.
I'm just telling you, we've advertised it on a couple of fan sites, Facebook fan sites for Matlock. And, all these people are when is this thing coming out? And, I really am somewhat taken aback that there are so many people want to see this and hear this episode of Matt Talk. So
episode 1 of Matt Talk dropping tomorrow. That's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm super excited for that. So was that on Three Geeks and PVD?
It will be, I believe, for both the first episodes. Yes, we're gonna cross promote them on both of the websites. It'll be available through Anchor FM and all those various different outlets as well. And probably next week, we'll post the actual episode to the Facebook page too, so that everybody can see it that wants to see it.
All right, that's awesome. I'm super excited. That's super awesome. Matt Talk might almost be as good as Yoo-Hoo and fucking Tang, but we'll have to see. That is yet to be seen.
TBD.
TBD.
All right, well, guys, awesome. Thank you for doing the Three Geeks like we do. Appreciate all of you. Hope you're staying safe and well in these times. Riot safely, everyone, and recycle your droids.